Ladies and gentlemen, many of you might know that recently Joe Biden warned of a food shortage due to sanctions that were placed on Russia. So, you mean to tell me that you are placing so many sanctions on Russia that those sanctions will ultimately hurt your own people? We already seen what the sanctions have done with the gas prices. So now, look, I was looking at a multitude of different articles on the food shortage. They're all saying that this will go on for years to come because of these sanctions he placed on Russia. I mean, what is it with y'all that always like to do harm to others and then that harm ultimately comes back on you? Y'all got that problem real bad. So I'm going to let you listen to this audio and I will further comment on this situation.
Biden warns of real food shortage following sanctions on Russia. President Biden said Thursday that a food shortage is going to be real following the sanctions that were placed on Russia by the U.S. government as a result of Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion into Ukraine. With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real, Biden said during a press conference at a NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, following a meeting with other world leaders. The price of the sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia, he added. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. Biden said Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat and insisted that he and other leaders had a long discussion in the G7 about the need to increase and disseminate food production. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade limitations on sending food abroad, Biden said. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to the food shortages. Biden's warning of a real food shortage and the impact it will have on America and European countries following the implementation of sanctions on the Russian economy comes after White House Press Secretary Jim Psaki said this week that Americans are unlikely to face a food shortage. While we are not expecting a food shortage here at home, we do anticipate that higher energy, fertilizer, wheat, and corn prices could impact the price of growing and purchasing critical fuel supply, food supplies for countries around the world, Psaki said. And early estimates from the World Bank suggest disproportionate impacts on low and middle income countries, including in Africa. At the time, Psaki said the administration was working with our partners in the G7 multilateral development banks, the World Food Program, and the UN Food and Agriculture Organization to mitigate food shortage impacts lower income countries. A Twitter account managed by the Republican National Committee highlighted previous dismissal from Biden over potential food shortages in America due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In May 2020, while taking aim at then President Donald Trump during a virtual town hall, Biden claimed America did not have a food shortage problem. We don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem, then candidate Biden said. We have plenty of food, Biden added at the time. It's being plowed under. You've got your euthanizing cattle and pigs. They're out there making sure that they're pouring thousands of gallons of milk into the ground. It's not a food shortage. It's a lack of leadership, a lack of leadership. As war continues to ravage Ukraine, Americans, particularly those who live paycheck to paycheck, are beginning to feel the financial squeeze on their food prices from the conflict half a world away. It began with a rapid rise in gas prices. Now, with Russian oil ban in the United States and energy scarcity heightened globally, experts say shoppers can expect their grocery bills to rise in coming months, especially if Ukraine misses its wheat planting season. It comes an absolutely horrible time for American consumers because we are looking every day at inflation almost reaching 10%, Dan Varoni, a supply chain expert and founder of Potomac Core, told Fox Business. Last month's figures were close to 8%. And that means that consumers, including those that are living paycheck to paycheck, are going to pay more for food. Russia and Ukraine produce 25% of the global wheat supply, according to the Observatory for Economic Complexity. While neither of these countries exploit wheat to the U.S. directly, their absence from the global market is expected to strain supply and push prices higher. Fox Business Andrew Keeper contributed to this article.
All right. So you heard that? Ladies and gentlemen, I just think it is just hilarious. Everything they are doing is a detriment to themselves. Now, I know we're talking about the food, but look, there's been a supply chain shortage in America since the pandemic. All right? Virtually all kinds of products are hard to come by. Now you have the gas prices, which everybody is impacted, even if you're not a driver and you depend on public transportation or Uber or Lyft, you're going to pay more. If it's going to cost them more in fuel, they're going to pass those costs on to you. It's going to cost more to travel in general. And now you're talking about a food shortage due to all these sanctions that he is just, it's like every day when I wake up, there's some more sanctions he's putting out there. More sanctions and more sanctions. Okay, now it's one thing if the sanctions are hitting Russia, but when it's hitting your own people, that's a huge problem. How come y'all didn't set this stuff up where it would not impact you? But what they did was every country is all pretty much tied together when it comes down to trade. So when they throw these sanctions out there, they can't really disconnect themselves from the whole thing. So you're impacted too. Wow. I can tell somebody with high IQs came up with that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, you think the shelves were empty before? He's warning you. It's about to get worse. That's why he's telling you it's getting real. It's going to be real. So, he's warning you already. We already have the drought that's going on out in the West, and they're talking about more heat waves are coming this year for those same places, Washington State, Oregon, those places are going to see triple digits again this year. And California, they said the drought has escalated and got worse. And they already told the farmers out there because of the drought, the US federal government will not be giving them water. And you got the bird flu that's going rapidly across the country, and they are killing up these chickens by the millions. So, y'all just brace yourself for the worst because it's definitely coming. You can best believe that. All right, I got one more audio, and this is from Joe Biden himself that I want you to listen to.
Nothing more to report. With regard to food shortage, yes, we did so talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well.
All right, so you heard what he said. You know, the president of sanctions. You heard what he said. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only is it going to be bad in your grocery stores, but expect it to be bad, for people that are um, eating out. Everything's going to go up. It's going to cost more to virtually do anything that's involving food in this country. And as if we need this on top of these crazy looking gas prices, that's why it's saying that people that are making low income, they don't know how these people are going to make it. You already got rent going up, and you got the gas, and some of these people, they could barely afford their rent and they're paying more money to even put gas in their car to go to work. So they're really going to be hit hard by any shortage at this point in time. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Wow. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.